that you guys are heading back to Australia. How are you guys feeling about finally being able to make it back down under?
Yeah, we are so stoked to be going back. It's been far too long. You know, we have a very long history of just loving Australia. We love the country, the surfing. The shows are always a lot of fun, and it's been far too long.
You've got such a loyal fan base here in Australia as well. I know for years and years I was in a band that used to play covers, and we always used to get Switchfoot requests. How do you feel about your Aussie fans, and is it a relationship that you're aware of?
If I lose you for a second, I'm leaving the Wi-Fi. It was getting a little noisy on stage.
Oh, sorry.
You have me still?
Yeah, I was just saying you've got such a loyal fan base here in Australia. I was in a band for years that used to play covers at youth events, and we used to get Switchfoot requests all the time. Are you aware of that loyal fan base here in Australia, and have you been able to interact with them online over the years as well?
Oh, wow. I mean, that's great to hear. Yeah, we've definitely always felt the love from Australia, and you know, being from California, I feel like there's definitely a kindred spirit between the two places. You know, both in our coastal culture and kind of laid back attitude, and so we always feel very at home there. And yeah, very thankful that our music has been received so well in Australia. We definitely feel that love.
What's the last few years been like for you guys? Because, of course, you're a band that tours a lot, and suddenly touring was taken away from the world because of COVID. What was that time like for you, and how did you spend that time personally?
Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting time for all of us, right? And I think for me personally, there's a lot of soul searching, kind of unpacking my identity, you know, who I am outside of a touring musician in a rock band, because, as you said, that was no longer my reality for a couple of years. And you know, it was a real beautiful time of kind of discovering in a very pure way how much I just love music, regardless of it, if it's my job or not. You know, I was really doing a lot of music just at home. And then we immediately started looking for ways to kind of still connect through music, even if it's, you know, from our living rooms. And we started doing these. At first, they were like kind of collaborative music things on Instagram. You know, sending songs back and forth and videoing ourselves doing it and posting those clips. Just trying to use music as a way to connect, you know, in different ways. And then we started doing live streams once we were able to be in the same room together, and it kind of became this beautiful new way of you know, connecting through music. And it wasn't limited to just who could be at a show that night. You know, suddenly we're connecting with fans all over the world, including, you know, people tuning in from Australia. And you know, I think that's what art is always, when it's at its best, it's finding it's problem solving. You know, it's finding new outlets when there's obstacles in the way. And it felt like that was something that was happening in a very unexpected fashion.
Music was something that helped a lot of people get through that time, and a lot of people saw it as a tough time because they were losing jobs or sadly losing relatives. Did you find that a lot of fans actually reached out to you during that time as well for kind of help and support?
Yeah, absolutely. It felt like, you know, music has never felt more important in my lifetime than at that moment, which was ironic because it was at a time when it was really difficult to do music.
Yeah.
But it felt like music was so necessary, so needed, and it was a great motivation to get to work.
How did it feel, that first show back for you? That first time that you walked back on stage after such a long layoff, how did that feel? Were you nervous, excited? What was the emotions that you were going through?
Yeah, all of the above. Thinking back on it now, it was so surreal. Um, in one hand, it felt so deeply normal and human to be together, with other humans singing the same songs. But in other ways, it felt so exotic and like a true privilege. Maybe something that had been overlooked and taken for granted for most of my life.
Yeah.
It's suddenly like, wow, this is such an immense privilege that we can do this.
Now, bringing it back to the Australian tour, you guys now have got so many amazing tracks in the back catalogue. How do you go about putting together a set list each night, and what can Australian fans expect from your set list this time around?
Yeah, so we really, pride ourselves on doing a different set list every night. We like to really be in the moment, put it together based on conversations we had during the day and song requests that come up, as we meet people that are coming to the show. And then also we rarely follow the set list, because, it's our opinion that the show has more to do with who's in the crowd than who's on stage. And many times, fans are shouting out song requests. The mood is moving from one place to another, and we like to be immersed in that experience and part of it, rather than simply dictating where it should go. That the audience has a role in that. So we keep it very loose because of that. And fortunately, we have 13 albums now to pull from, and we definitely plan to be pulling from all throughout our career.
How have you found the Australian fans at your shows over the years? Because I know Australian fans have got a little bit of a reputation of being a little bit wild at shows. How have you found those Aussie fans at your shows?
Yeah, it's a great energy. I guess, I'd say it's unique. Each country kind of brings its own energy to a show, but I think the Australian energy is certainly distinct in that it feels very familiar to where we're from in California, but also it's another level of energy. Whereas in California, I think people may be a little more laid back at a concert. I think Aussies go all in.
Now, I've noticed, looking at your tour schedule, that you've got a couple of days off when you're here in Australia. What do you like to do on your days off, especially when you come to a country like Australia, so far across the world?
Yeah, so there's most of us in the band surf, and we haven't decided whether we're going to be bringing boards this time or hitting up our buddies along the way to borrow boards. But we're definitely planning on surfing with every free moment we get.
Have you got some favorite Aussie surf spots that you like to go to? Like, there's a lot here in Victoria where I am, but I know there's also a lot in Queensland and New South Wales and even WA, which I think is one of the places where you've got some time off. Have you got some favorite Aussie surf spots?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely looking forward to WA quite a bit because, that's such a vast coastline of, relatively empty waves. And the short little bits we've had an opportunity to surf there, it's been just phenomenal. Feels very untouched.
Yep.
Which is, a stark contrast from like Snapper Rocks, which I'm also looking forward to surfing there the day of our first show. I believe that morning we'll have a chance. But that's, the exact opposite, where it's like, one of the best waves you'll ever see and also one of the most crowded, know?
You've been able to travel right around the world with the band, which means you've probably been able to surf in some pretty amazing places. Where's the best place that you've ever surfed? Because I've heard countries like South Africa have some amazing beaches that most people don't even know about.
Yep, South Africa's great. I do love some warm water, so Bali, Fiji, Hawaii, those are all highlights for me. But we've kind of over the years had the opportunity to tailor a few of our tours around some of our favorite surf spots, which has been an amazing thing. And Australia is always on that list.
Yeah. Would you guys ever consider coming out here and playing at one of our surf festivals, like somewhere like Bells Beach, while the surf tour is there? Is that something you guys would ever look at doing as well?
Oh yeah, that'd be a dream. That'd be the best case scenario. We're in.
Yeah. Now, mate, I've got to ask very quickly too, because you guys have got an album out at the moment. Bringing out a Christmas album. What was that like for you? Because everybody loves Christmas tracks, and Christmas tracks mean so much to so many people around the world. What was it like putting together a Christmas album?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was something that we talked about for years, and I think that the catalyst for finally getting around to doing it was being home in 2020. One of the obsessions that my brother and I got into was making Christmas playlists, and I guess it was that realization that the Christmas album that I wanted didn't exist yet, and then we started asking ourselves, well, what would a Switchfoot Christmas album sound like? What are the things that are unique to us that we feel like we could bring to a space that has been done so many times? And we kind of landed on this very nostalgic Californian West Coast flavor of Christmas, which is unique. I mean, it reminds me of a lot of what I imagine an Australian Christmas would look like. A lot less snow and a lot more beach, but bringing with that still the nostalgia of Christmas songs of old that we grew up listening to. So we split the record in half, did 5 new songs and 5 old kind of standards, and it was a lot of fun to make.
Awesome, yeah. Well, it matches the Australian Christmas a lot, because we have summer for our Christmas, so we normally get a hot day on Christmas Day. So, yeah, matches completely.
Yeah, right on.
Awesome. Well, mate, we've only got 1 minute left for the interview, so I guess to finish off, what would you like to say to all of your Aussie fans out there heading into Christmas, but also at a time when they should be going out and grabbing tickets for your show as well?
Yeah, we can't wait to get over there, and it's been far too long. Bring your energy, because we're definitely bringing ours, and we're not coming halfway around the world to go halfway. We're excited to just leave it all on the stage every night.